careful when we are separated and walking around this space that we do have, looks like about 6 cars in here. We're just gonna stay away from the 6 cars. But welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. Again, I take you to weird spots. Let's talk about why we're here. I guess first off, communication devices, that means spirit boxes, Ouija board, word list. This is where I start withholding information on purpose. I want you guys to have a genuine experience. So I'm not going to be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. I will be giving focus questions out just to try to keep this location as controlled as possible. So where are we? We're at the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. So here's how this goes down. Their mansion sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with first the Five Church restaurant, came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. Who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks in case you weren't paying attention. That's why we look for those secondary clues. I need to know which one's coming through in the event that somebody hears the name Charles. Hopefully we're getting a secondary clue from somewhere else, so I know how to address them. The son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for South Carolina. I hate politics more than all of you combined. We're going to move on. If I don't give the gentleman their recognition, they will do it for me in a nasty manner through a spirit box. I just make sure I give it to them, we move on. We're going to be discussing Eliza instead. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say it like that because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial times that she came from when young ladies got married at the ages of 12 and 14. I say that because her husband was over double her age when they married. It's kind of a creepy age gap back then, it's a creepy age gap now. Just giving you guys subtle clues if you guys get the point. Now, she married him because her father was over in England. Dad thinks he's dying over there. He wants to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put. Got married right here in 1744. You don't get married in that particular year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. Like, this is a true love story. There is nothing horrific about this location, just so you guys know. If anything, it's a place of respect. But anyway, she was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. That's how we use it today. However, when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She actually had to learn from her servants and slaves how to keep it going. It's not always hot here. And then she learned how to make the dye from them, moved it to a cash crop, and got a hold of Dad overseas and told him the rice plantation prices are going downhill. We got the indigo up and running. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. Something absolutely unheard of, right before we're a country. So that's the boring business stuff with Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to kind of go through all of the different communication devices, give you guys a set of focus questions, and we're going to spread out. I'll do a couple of round robins to see what's going on with your devices, take plenty of notes, and then bring us all back to show you how it all tied together and give you all of the answers to all of the questions I'm about to hand out. Again, remember, I'm withholding things. So tell me all of the silly things that you're hearing on your spirit boxes to see if I can see if it's going to stick on the wall. Remember, I guess we do have 3 cameras running, plus my voice recorder, plus all the other communication devices. If Drew is asking a question, any one of those devices can get the answer. That's why you're going to tell me all of the things. Even if it was just Drew and Kylie here, there's going to be at least a minimum of 2 communication devices for our ghost to be able to use to communicate back and to verify what the other people are doing. Hopefully you guys get the point. I would be using things, that's why I wear all the pockets. So, Landon and Kimberly, you guys are going to have the same set of questions because you're using the same device. So you guys are going to stay focused on Eliza's death. So 4 major things we get answers to. How old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So obviously no yes, no questions if you decide to go rogue and ask your own, and just please be respectful while we're here. I think that's a big deal. So Drew, next on your list is the mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it. So obviously something happened to it. If you get the what, we will often get 2 or 3 numbers from the exact date of when that tragedy occurred. I just gave you a clue that it was a tragedy, so you kind of have an idea of what you're looking at. So Jasmine and Jeannie. Oh, that works out. The 2 J's. Perfect. See how you guys remember all your names? So your 2 devices are almost going to work in tandem. So you're going to be looking for Eliza's full initials of ELP in that order. No mixing it up and that kind of thing. And the reason why is because you're going to be looking at what the L stands for. Because the Eliza I just talked about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. The first wife died in January. 5 months later, he married the one I just told you about with the indigo. Kind of a jerk move if you really think about it. You're going to hopefully either capture all of the other little answers that they're not getting on top of the maiden name. So try to figure out what her maiden name was. So the other thing I'll ask, and kind of a heated warning on this location, do not ask questions about Eliza's children. I You know, some of us,
Wait, I
like
just
your
had
mom's in
something.
here and you want to like try to make a relation, don't ask about the kids. Is that fair? I'll explain why before we leave the space. So I'm going to keep Jasmine with me so I can teach her a few things about that device.
So I have something dancing.
Where is it at in relation to me?
It's like right near you, but it's like dancing.
That's him.
Is that you?
Yes, that's him.
Okay.
So I'm
See
trying
the
to, like,
just
move
as far as a
specific-
Okay,
see
now
the telephone pole.
Yeah.
It's also going to pick up on shadows.
Okay, cool.
Shadows are an absence of light, so it looks like it's
He
in
looks
front of
taller
something
here.
else.
He does look taller. It looks like you're in the
It looks
telephone
like
pole.
much
I'll take it. Maybe I do
Yeah,
need to
no,
go on
seriously,
TV.
with the perspective of the bush and the
It
telephone
might be.
pole.
But then
I
it's
also have a
gone.
pole behind me, so it's probably picking up on like a
Got it.
version. So, but good eye though. I like the questions. But yeah, let's spread out. Drew, let's get you unmuted. Jasmine, stay with me. I'll be with everybody in just a few minutes. Let me know, again, kind of remember your numbers on your end, so that way when I do my round robins, you can tell me what you've caught so far. Have you guys seen anything yet, by the way? How much did it go? 8.3. Okay, so now don't give me anything below that 8.3. So I'll write down to 8.3 and kind of see where we go from there. Age, how, where she's buried, president as pallbearer. Okay. All right, so Jasmine, your device works just like an EMF meter, just like theirs. It just gives us letters and a signal. So anytime you get a full row at the bottom, so you're no, you're going to hit the record button now. Oh yeah, we're going to record at every space. So this is the sensitivity down here. I turned it back over there because the electrical poles would give us some things, but there's no electricity in here. So we want to crank it up, so if we have something, it's more than likely that it's going to be something. This is not even supposed to be on, but this thing gets bounced around my bag all the time, so take it for what it's worth. I tried to shut it off with just one. I tore my whole damn thing apart. But every time you get a full row at the bottom and you can't make anything out of it, it's going to start rewriting the letters over top of the old ones. And we don't want to do that. Because if it says fast and then you get an L over the F, now we have last. And that doesn't make any sense. So you're going to take the green dial and you're going to turn it counterclockwise and then go back up to 12 o'clock and you'll get a nice fresh row and it'll be empty. So you're going to do that every single time. You're going to be doing that all night long. In between spaces, I'll ask you to turn back this about a quarter turn because the electrical or the parking meters actually give off electricity from the sidewalks. So it's going to give off a little bit of false positives from that. So I just say turn it back about a quarter of a turn just to kind of see if we can get a few letters out of it in between spaces. But we'll see what we can get out. Some nights I get 0. Other nights I have like 20 terms from this device. I never know what it's going to give me. The longest thing I've seen it spell out so far in order, correct way, was the word cheese. It didn't mean anything to that particular location, but you can see how this thing works. It would take a few times to go through the cycle to spell out the word cheese. And that actually happened just like a month ago. I've had this thing for like a year and a half now maybe. But yeah, I need a new one. It's just, the little box is expensive. So it's like, I really don't want to replace it. I've emailed the company that makes it several times. They're like, oh, that's a flaw. I'm like, well, I use this thing every night. Can you fix the flaw? So, but anyway.
You don't want to
I know, right? Well, no, it's more like this tap feature. And I've had to replace this dial 3 times now. All it is like a guitar amp dial, so I just bought a whole pack of them, and I changed it to green. I think theirs was red, but green is the color of my logo, so it just makes sense. If I can do anything green, I do it in green. Exactly, I'm that guy. But with your camera, you're more of a debunker, just so you have an idea. So when you do find things like what you just did with me and the pole and all that stuff, like I'm teaching you to look at things in a much different light. Am I going to spot check that? I sure am. For everything that you record, I watch 1 minute for every 5. And I watch it in fast forward, so that way I can actually see how they're dancing and see if it's moving in a different fashion. So are they truly dancing and moving around? Did she ask for somebody to raise their certain hand? And that's the kind of things I'm looking for. But again, with that one, I've had, like I said, between 4 to 6 like stamps of approval, and it was like interactions, like, hey, do this, do that kind of mentality. So really cool stuff will come out of it. It is an oh shit moment, but most of the time it's bogus. But a lot of people were asking me for that camera. That's the only way I can make it portable. I can't carry that 20-pound entourage that they have on TV. It's just too ridiculously heavy. But again, shadows it will pick up on, and obviously all of the layers that you're looking at on that building, it's picking up on all the stairwell and all that stuff. So you got the point. You guys seem like smart ladies. We'll get this figured out. All right, Lan, what have you heard?
I just had a few questions.
Sure.
What was the name we're looking for? Her name?
Eliza. President, that was a pallbearer. Then
Is Is there any non-living here?
Pick up the car battery too. Well, right now by the car, it's like 23 right there. Yeah. Well, what? Car batteries, right?
What's that?
You said it picks up car
It
batteries?
might pick up on some of the car batteries, depending on what kind of car it is. Okay, I put it on the car.
Yeah, and then I picked up, like, I was past 100, probably about right past 100, it said 23.
So 15, 20, 20.
23? Yeah, I got 23. That's why I told her, I was by the car, it was like 23.
So you That's your new baseline. Anything below that 23. And then obviously you're up to
22.1.
20.9, and yours is 23.
Yes.
So don't give me anything below the line. Don't give me anything below the 20. See what we can get out of it. Kimberly, have you heard anything out of there yet? Have you heard anything? So it's not an easy job. Remember, if you hear a song lyric or a DJ talking, tell me what the DJ is talking about. If you can make it out. Again, it's a silly thing to come up with that you don't know that it means. So again, if you recognize a song and you hear Purple Rain, tell me what the first Purple Rain. Okay, makes sense. So maybe you kind of have to just kind of. Just so you know, your camera is the one that you're flying. They're very small. I send your videos over to YouTube. I'm not following up with your guys' cameras. It's because I'm waiting so I can watch them. If you see something that I'm usually about to around when I'm back in the office. This is my just to say just take a break. Okay. Just like that, I told Miss Tyler, your camera's That's okay. I also normally give my chatterboxes the headphone spear boxes because you're going to give me a loss. Sometimes you guys give me too much. So tonight, the way the dynamic worked among everybody, I think pretty good. Usually pretty good. A couple nights ago, I was kind of like, this thing really worked out based on the personality of the machine versus what I thought it would work to be like. That is very good.
It's intriguing, that's for sure.
And wait till I start showing you how this all ties together. Like that's where everything gets intriguing. Anything crazy going on with yours yet?
No, really just hitting the light posts and it picks up.
Okay, so
And
you're
that goes
debunking a
away.
lot of things. Good. See, that's why we keep you around. Anything else?
Summer house, backyard, slave quarters.
Oh, Landon was the one I did. 29. go by Jasmine, or can I be cool and call you Jazz?
A lot of people do.
Okay, what you got, anything?
Lynn would one in.
Okay.
Lay, sub, abbreviation never, and NGN.
Sub.
Never.
Like NVR?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that she's gonna know things like that. I can see where you're going with it.
Yeah.
And then what was the last one? MGM?
Yeah. But I don't think that has to do with this.
I got nothing. But you're getting little things like that, which is good. So, is she gonna know her texting language from today? No.
No.
I have no idea. So again, even the word hi doesn't make sense at this location. Somebody might hear the word hi on a spirit box. I'm like, no, that's not gonna work for me. She's from 1744.
She's not gonna say hi.
Say hello. Or
Yeah.
good day. You know, that kind of stuff.
48.3 right there.
We might actually have to do it.
32? Yeah, 48. I was standing right here when y'all talking. 32. So 48.3.
I like it. All right, I say we rein it in, kids. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's come on back to the back. We lost Drew. Anybody see Drew anywhere?
Do we hit stop?
Yeah, go ahead and hit stop. All right, Drew, we're gonna get you on mute because I'm gonna be using you a new device at this location. Do you know where you're at?
No.
Oh, okay. You right thing. This is kind of in my spot where I normally like to go. So you're gonna hang on to the spirit box. Do you have a pocket? Just slide it in your pocket because we're going to be using it again because we're only going to use this particular device at this location, and it'll make more sense as to why once I start going with the story. And remember, EMF readers are looking for an 8 or above. So I'm going to hook up Drew with this crazy voice recorder. This thing can hear a frog fart from a mile away. We're going to be using this here for live EVPs as I kind of go through the history. That group over there is kind of in my spot. So in the events that they move or pass through us, we will move further away so that way he doesn't have the crazy air conditioner in his ear. So again, I usually stop over there anyway. Now, this voice recorder is pretty intense, Drew, just so you know. We're going to be here for probably 10 to 14 minutes depending on what goes on. And again, I'm here to tell the story, but you're going to be looking for things in the background, and you're going to know what those things are once we get the story started. So you're basically just going to listen, intently to see if there's anything in the background that you recognize. That's not our voices or their voices, obviously. So it is already recording. So you're going to slide these on, and you're going to hold this, and wherever you point these microphones is where it picks up the most sound. So it's going to pick up me nice and clear, and then it's not going to pick up me. Got the point? All right, so that thing, I'm telling you, is pretty intense, just so you guys know. So usually the person that uses the spirit box that he normally uses, because he doesn't have the opportunity to listen while we're here, because there's no headphones, I usually let them try this. We've been trying this experiment more and more. So again, if that group moves, we're going to move down a little bit further, because I like to be in the dark. Talk to me, what have we heard? What have we seen? What do we got?
I heard surround on the way down.
Okay, surround. Anything else?
The first thing I heard was Monday night.
Monday night. Surround. Moving. Word list. Where are we at on yours, Jeannie? What do you got? Anything?
Soapy. All right. Chop.
Anything before that?
Oh. My work gate, southern sky.
Gate is relevant. Actually, where they were standing is the gate. So they're like, go to the gate. So again, I like the word gate. I usually tell why the gate is there. All right, let's move down. Let's get our spot back. I love how he picks the darkest areas. I kept asking like 10 minutes. Where's Drew? Where's Drew? All right, so let's kind of talk about what's going on here. Remember, you guys are looking for an 8 or above. So, Landon, nothing else came out of yours? I'm sorry.
I got the name Chris.
No, but I'll definitely write it down because you heard it. Jess, do you have anything going on back there, by the way?
No.
Okay, so do a hard reset, and you're going to be looking for the letters RI specifically for initials in that order, just like the ELP from before.
Okay.
14 days and Chris. I'll write those down. Let's let this group pass through. Watch out. so let's kind of go through this. By the way, if you have a camera, by all means, get them started. If you haven't, and you want to get a shot going one way or the other down the alley, just the way Amy's doing, so that way you don't just have our tight little circle, because the entire time that we're going to be here, we're going to be in a tight circle just like this. When other tourists come through here, obviously just point your camera straight downward. We'll all understand, especially with yours, Kylie, because you look like a crazy photographer lady.
You were totally just filming those other people.
Now, Philadelphia Alley used to be called Jewelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, I say some of the duels because dueling was illegal and they had to find hiding spots. This just happened to be one of them. So, every ghost tour comes down here and tells the exact same story. I'm going to tell the same story with a few extra details because you're ghost hunting. You're not on a campfire and choosing marshmallow ghost tour. Let's get into it. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. So, she is picking up on the angles of all of the brush on the right-hand side. I can already see it, not to mention the building. So, a doctor moves here from Rhode Island, which is exactly why Jazz is looking for RI, Rhode Island. So, it's going to make more sense when I get even further into the story. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that the two spirit box that are listening in, so that would be Kimberly and Landon. If you guys hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of the doctor's name. So, I get it all the time. Moving on. Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. He's going to make his own. He's going to start his medical practice down here. On his way into town, he was set up by his coachman to be robbed and killed. It's like having a really bad Uber driver in today's world, right? So somebody was walking by and knew the coachman and knew what was about to happen to this newcomer, and his name was Ralph Isaacs. Do those initials sound familiar? Yeah, it's super warm down here, I'm sorry. And I try to breeze through it. Actually, if you stand over here, because there's a little bit of a breeze that might help you out a little bit. So Ralph Isaacs, obviously the same initials. We've actually, this is the reason why Jazz has that device. I bought it for this location, just to see if we were going to get the letters RI, because I was already getting it from regular spirit boxes like what Kimberly's using. Moving on. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, I know this guy, the coachman. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them. You'll be safe and good to go. Doc took him up on the offer. The two gentlemen became friends, and the longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. He's making his own. She's moving down so they can be married, and Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is why I hate the story. It's a giant cliche. Every haunted city you will ever visit will have a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. It just happens to be a doctor here in Charleston. Why am I here in Jewelers Alley telling you this? Let's get into that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats. So they go see Richard III one night, and on their way home, they're walking and arguing over the new actress that they just saw. Doc thought she was great. Ralph couldn't stand her. They start arguing, and Ralph is now insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and it got really ugly between the two of them. They separated. Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper and tells them to place an ad for him, telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. It's kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doc saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Jewelers Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. Just a reminder that this whole thing started over an actress. Pretty dumb argument. Anyway, the two gents came down back to back, took their 10 paces away from each other. They turn, Doc points his gun in the air and shoots. He did not want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage to show up, which is often what happens at a duel. But Ralph has his one bullet in his flintlock. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Doc didn't die, he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out two things. It's 1786. Gunshot wounds, a lot different back then than what we know of them now. Secondly, he is a doctor. So he probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself. Now, the whole ghost story down here is that every tour will tell their guests to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running, a crazy voice recorder, plus the one on my back. That's 5 devices. If we're going to capture a full disembodied whistle coming out of this location, it's going to be out of one of those pieces of equipment. However, on our red spirit boxes, I have caught, I can't tell you how many times, the whistling part of a song and then the word doctor immediately after from a commercial. Doctor, I get it all the time, and I'm not looking for it, it just happens. So again, take that for what it is. If you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through here with the voice recorders from your phones, just remember that every local knows this damn story. Anybody walking up and down Queen Street or Cumberland, we all throw a whistle down this alley whenever we're walking by the alley. It's just something we do here. Drew is hopefully capturing some type of faint whistle in the background. I have a very faint something from last night doing this experiment here, but we had a lot of crickets down here too, so it's almost indiscernible at that point. Now, I will tell you, I've actually been kicked out of here. So there's a reason why we go around the corner this way and I don't continue to take you all the way down. Let me kind of explain that as this person actually walks through, so again, we'll kind of split the seas.
Was someone in their group whistling when they went by?
Probably. It happens every
Okay,
night.
I just heard that, so.
Yep, it happens every single night. You're welcome. With me being kicked out of here, let me explain that, and again, we'll get out of here, I promise. There used to be a wall up this way, halfway between us here at the gate and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this was called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So cows, goats, and chickens are all running through here. Why am I telling you this? That means that the bricks down at the other side, that's where they started. So those are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks down there are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and some fingerprint swipes and others. I used to take my groups all the way through for a history lesson. We all need to see those bricks to show how far we've come from slavery. So, there's nothing paranormal about it. You guys already know how I feel about cemeteries. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. I took my group down there for a little lesson, and they all stopped and huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen with their gear. I'm trying to shoo them along, because I know nothing's going to happen. We're also standing outside the dining room window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was just trying to be respectful. I didn't realize we were out of bounds for tours. Well, the new owner of that mansion came out and he was screaming. My daughter thought it was hysterical because her father was getting yelled at, and she was all about it. So we just moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I used to work in upper management for Walmart, and you all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving. You scarred me for life. I will never work another Thanksgiving ever. So the next day, I called my partner. Sorry about that, Drew. That's probably going to be super loud in your ears. I called my partner that I had at the time. I told him what happened so I could figure out what to do next, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did. He said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway. You got to reroute your group tonight. Well, it's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. What I told my group that night was I don't believe in the next story. And normally the next story is a pirate story. So I told them I'm into vampires, not pirates. But somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne before we left there. I didn't tell them which pirate we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. I took them around the corner, told them what I did know about piracy. Somebody else with a spirit box heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant. I wrote it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720, the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So I normally get the, oh, that's pretty cool. I was actually pissed off. Master's degree in creative writing, guys. So again, anything that I do as far as research, I need facts and data, especially when I'm dealing with the paranormal. Otherwise, it's just folklore to me. So the problem with pirates is that all of the stories come from pirate lore, which was written 100 years after the golden age of piracy of the days of Blackbeard and Anne Bonny. That means I had to do a shit ton of research. I'm actually quite ticked off that I got kind of, it's on the location I investigate Anne Bonny is kind of on hold for tours. Like, it's technically where we're allowed to go, but technically not, based off of the city limits. So somebody's been monitoring it over the past couple of weeks, so I was like, oh, it's perfect. Now it's the anniversary of what goes on at the cemetery across the street. So when we go up and around across the street, obviously Kylie's camera is going to be a major focus, but I'm going to want all 3 cameras focused on that area, and I'm going to give you guys the story ahead of time. Have we heard anything out of our spirit boxes before we leave this very, very warm area? Landon, have you got anything? Have you heard anything at all?
So far, the main thing I can note is Joseph.
Joseph.
So that was his name?
Yep, it was Joseph. Oh, all of the things that he heard earlier, remember the 3 things that I gave you? 22, 7, and are you a doctor? Obviously the doctor piece. The 7 is relevant because the doctor's birthday is July 7th, 7-7. We normally hear it in doubles. And he died at the age of 22. So again, the 22 could be relevant to Eliza. We didn't get anything else relevant to our marriage, but all 3 other clues kind of tie into, like, Doc was kind of like, hey, what the hell are you doing way over here? But he will follow us. I was going to take this out of my route, but he follows me at every location now. I don't normally see him over by the Pinckney Mansion site. He normally starts when I'm here and then follows us around because of the places of raised emotion of where we're going to be that's relevant to Dr. Ladd. But he also heard Chris, Joseph, and then 14 days was what you heard earlier, right? Was it 14 days? Okay, any other numbers that I need to know about EMF-wise? And Jeannie, where are we at with our words? Give me the last 3 words.
Design, worry, productivity.
Productivity, perfect. All right, Drew, did you get any other whistles besides the craziness that happened?
No.
So go ahead and keep that on as we get around the corner. Once we exit the alley, I'll take it from you. I just want to keep it on through the entirety of this alley, just in case something pops up as we're walking away, and then we'll get you back on your spirit box work. Let's get that. You guys all have glistening foreheads, so I want to get you guys all out of here. Like Kylie's looks just melting over there. Anything crazy going on with the cameras that you guys saw in real time?
No.
Nothing.
I don't know why, but I keep sensing 27 and
20.
27 and
There is said that Andrew Jackson actually had a duel down here. There's no proof of it because obviously he was a president. They're gonna hide that shit away so it's not bad press. So it's a rumor, but I'm not surprised. So you're kind of half right. I just can't prove it. So take that for what it's worth. But yeah, let's get everybody out of here. It's in between the bars. You guys are looking at the grave. Do you guys see the cross grave in the back, the cross headstone? Sue's grave is just to the left of that, one more backwards. Believe it or not, we were probably closer to Sue Howard Hardy when we were in the alleyway versus over here. So just try to keep as steady as possible, especially with yours, Kylie, because I'm going to watch them and fast forward. So if I see anything weird coming through on there, that's where I'm going to get excited about things. So Amy, with your camera, the more still you are, the less it's going to pick up all the subtleties, which is good. So that way if we do get a person running across the damn cemetery, we'll be able to capture it a lot better. So Monica and Lee, you're like right on point on where we actually caught it. So where we caught that 9 was right there at the corner where the cement goes up a little bit, right where Lee's at. So that's where we caught that 9. Again, it was like a 9.2. I was like super surprised by it. Just because, again, I'm not used to monitoring this area, so I was just kind of surprised we had anything. So yeah, we'll just spend a few minutes here. You guys keep your arms nice and straight. You got your camera faced the wrong way. You're filming yourself at this point. You're filming you. Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me make sure you're recording at this point.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. Yep. The bus for us last night too. Let's see, like 4 or 5 nights ago. Like that thing was shut up. It was doing great.
I've been wanting to try one of these for a long time. So.
Well, this is a little accurate. It's just got a certain ratio of accuracy because it doesn't give us as much. The other two, it's going to give us
Yours is such a big shot.
I
I feel like I'm staring at a tree.
This is awesome.
I think it's just capturing the leaves, though.
it's just such a wide view.
Yeah.
Does anybody mind if I get a group shot of y'all up against this fence to share? You okay with me taking a picture of the back of everybody?
That's up to y'all. Like everything's going to be on film anyway.
I just got Teresa.
Oh, okay.
Teresa, I'll write it down. Sometimes it gets a little finicky. Like I said, it bounces around the bag a little bit. There we go. They're fully charged every day. If that thing died, it's a true ghost experience because that thing never dies.
Oh, okay.
Everything gets a brand new rechargeable battery every single day. If it doesn't take a rechargeable battery, it gets charged every day, whether it was used the night before or not. Because something may have sat in my bag because I only had 6 people. I want to make sure I still start off with a home.
It would have been cool if you didn't get nothing.
Well, my guess, no. Like if something drains, I usually get a look of, are you serious? Like I'm excited about that.
Right.
Because again, everything gets charged every day. My charging station at home is ridiculous. Like I have a whole table and it's all laid out. I can plug everything. Landon, anything coming out?
Not really.
Okay. Have a look. I see a little bit of something.
There's one that keeps coming close, like that one.
Teresa came through again.
I just heard course on yours, Drew, just so you know.
She keeps showing up right there. That's lower.
Sue, can you raise your right hand for us?
gone.
You're
There she is.
locked in too. That's
Yeah.
good. And nothing should be moving because there's not even a
No.
breeze tonight.
But before it was just up in the trees, but now she's like right there.
You just made this tree.
I don't know, but I got Teresa
That
twice.
scared me.
Yeah. I
So
heard
is
ya.
it Teresa?
I don't know who Teresa is. I'd have to look at the
Don't know.
cemetery records.
If it's Teresa, can you raise your hand? That's just trees.
Yeah. Getting up that high. Kylie, you got anything going on with yours that you can see?
So it almost appears like
This is side
one
of the
comes from the very back where the cross
other,
is, and then there's one that
stones.
comes
If you look at the
forward.
side of theirs.
She just
Now it's just trees.
Yeah.
I think it's just the other headstones.
With you.
Like peeking
Right
on the side
You got
there.
a job with me
Right
later.
there.
Yep. I mean, you haven't moved.
No, I'm locked in.
So when it came all the way down here,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's definitely going to be a screenshot for you guys for me to analyze. I love it. So looking for you to raise your right hand. We can see you. Oh, by the way, does everybody see the light off to the left? I'm sure you can.
Yeah.
The church put that there on purpose to try to create that flare on anybody trying to take pictures over here. But obviously my
She's,
cameras
like,
can see
right
it.
here.
Yeah.
Can you come closer?
There's men in here too. We don't know.
It might be in now.
Nice. I mean, just because we talked about a female and she keeps hearing Teresa doesn't make the assumption that it's female.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, you got anything? I heard the woohoo.
That's it.
And it's closer.
Yeah, even the silhouette looks female.
It does. The way it's
Old life,
moving.
new life.
I like it. Landon, you got anything?
Back. That one looks like a different one. Now that there's two. There's one in the background and there's one in the foreground.
Gonna keep this going for about another minute. I just want to see if Drew's gonna get anything. Jazz, you got anything going on? Mo? No. You
If
got
you're
MOE
with us,
though?
can you come forward?
Yeah, I got nothing. Jeannie, how's our word list looking? Do we have anything going on there? Can you give me? Can you give me like the last 4 or 5?
Apparent against spot panel window. Window as soon as we hit the block in our church.
Okay.
But window twice.
Window came up twice.
It did.
Yeah.
But you heard up to there before.
Okay. All right. I think it's fair to say that we call it on this one. I'm going to move us down just so I can explain. Like we're going to go back down this way so I can explain what the next location is. Just because it's going to be may not have been what we're looking for. It'd be more of a hello. So I can see where you're going with it, but I just don't see that the language would match. Paul offers Henry his cottage in the middle of Columbia. Go get back on track out there in peace. Leave your wife Katie behind to mourn with her parents that were here visiting. So Henry goes out to the cottage. It's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, "Beholder of brief mortality," which in modern English, "dear person with a short life." And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, pen in hand. Perfect way for a writer to go. But wait, there's more. I know, bad commercial. But there is more. There's a reason why we're here. We call this the Blood Book. They show this page one day a year on Halloween only at the Charleston Library Society where his collection is held. The bloodstain looks like a man writing at his desk. It's the perfect marker for a writer to leave behind. Now, you have to be a member to go see it, but the internet's beautiful. We're going to see what this page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to a ghost. So, let me bring up this last page of his. So, just so you know, Lee and Monica, your two people that are on the bench can't hear me. So in the event that they're too loud, we do have neighbors. I try not to piss them off. I'm going to have you guys tap them on the shoulder for them to quiet down. When we're done, because again, they're not going to be able to hear me, you're going to tap them on the leg so that way they know we're done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let's huddle around so I can just zoom in on it.
That's crazy.
But yeah, there is your final blood stain.
I mean, kind of worked that day.
So, I mean, the whole page tells the story to me. Dear person with a short life, cough, cough, death.
So wow.
We've actually had the images that Jazz is about to go through. We've had images that shown up in this shape before. Like, I can't make this stuff up, guys. There's a reason why we do what we do out here. So again, it's very interesting to see how this is actually going to go. So when we get over there, I'll give them a few tips and tricks of what to expect out of the two of you. And then, of course, I'll let Jazz know what's going on with her device. And you guys all know what your role is. We will stay in nice and tight with them. Again, we're going to only keep them under for 10 minutes. Any more than that can be very disorienting for certain people, especially in this kind of heat. So again, I try not to go over 10 minutes unless, of course, they are just spitting off answers left and right. 10 minutes is usually when I cut it off. I will time this. All right, let's go talk to a nurse. Let's see what we can do. Get me in trouble when I blindfold someone on a park bench in the middle of the night. Come on. All right, so here's what to expect out of it. So the two listeners, if you're too loud, because remember, you're going to hear things and you're going to say it as you hear them. Don't forget to talk. So if you're too loud, your loved ones tap you on the shoulder. Quiet down. Okay? Or they'll tap you on the head, apparently. When we're done, because I will time this, so I'm going to be out of there for 10 minutes only. Very disorienting if we go any more than that. They're going to tap you on the leg. You take off your own gear. I will never touch either one of you. Okay? You guys got the point on that. I hope. You're going to hear things, even yes, no's is okay in this particular scenario because you don't know what I'm asking. If you hear yes or no, say it. You hear it, say it. That's the whole concept. You're going to be seeing images that are going to be popping up out of here. This is the frame. I'm going to pull the phone. You're going to see a galaxy off in the distance. It's going to be moving around. You don't need to look for things in the galaxy. It's just so you don't fall asleep. Every once in a while, a picture will show up in front of the galaxy. Describe the picture. Simple terms. If you can't hear you, and you're talking over them. Three people, bench a tree. Make it nice and simple. In the event, if you're one of the gang is talking, I may ask you a probing question, and I'll use your name directly. Jazz, tell me what those three people are wearing. You know, those kind of things. So, again, blindfold first, then headphones, crank up your spirit boxes. I'll ask a few silly questions to make sure you guys can't hear me, and that's a go. So go ahead and lower your blindfolds and get those spirit boxes cranked up. These guys all have their job, they know what they're doing. And by the way, I'm not telling you guys the story tonight. I'm a jerk and stuff.
You got the cooler camera. Honestly, that thing is pretty cool.
It is.
This is not going to be a 3D Jurassic Park.
I wonder if we'll see anything behind them.
Again, very distant.
I don't know that at the ladies you got that was pretty cool.
That was cool. That was freaking cool. And she kept coming close. That one kept coming closer.
It to me looked like a thing.
I sure did.
Spit? I mean, what?
Not a clue. Perfect. Slide this in there. You do have a focus. So just get in there and just spray. There's a focus dial right here. Or just keep going underneath it so you can put it in there. Okay. What color is a blue banana? Perfect. You can't hear me. Okay, it is 11:11. Henry, come on. If you're here, we're looking for something about your occupation. We're going to start off nice and slow. Unless you want to change the subject. Henry, can you tell us something about your job? What did you say? Henry, what did you do for a living? Henry? If somebody else is here with you, can you please give us their first name? But otherwise, I am going to continue asking you about your occupation and your work. There is. Okay. Who else is here with you? Can you give us their first name? Jeannie, you might want to pay attention to this here. Yeah, Jeannie, pay attention, put names on there. Because he said there is somebody here with us. Extra. Other than Henry. Henry, who else came here with you? You can give us an image of that person. I'll probably recognize them. This is Jasmine. She can see whatever you want us to see. Henry.
There's much class.
something that you can see in there, or is that just something you're hearing?
No, there's a church
Okay.
or a building.
How big's that church?
It's
Amy, watch your camera with the grandson.
3 stories.
Henry?
Get back together.
Yeah, guys, get it back together. Henry? Tell us about the church that we're looking at. Can you tell us what church that is? Because I can't see it yet. Can you identify the church?
No kidding.
Station. Is it like a goldish color in there?
No, it's black, but there's specks, but there's like you can see their bodies. There's somebody walking through the specks, blocking the light, but there's multiple bodies. Just great.
Henry.
No, but it looks like Hollywood. Interesting documentary.
You said like a Hollywood, like the Hollywood sign?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay. Again, if it's blurry or you're unsure, you can use that dial. Everybody's different. Henry, nothing is making sense to me just yet. You gotta let me know who else is here. And if you're here, you need to let me know what you want to talk about.
I had like a really brief flash across here, but I don't know if it was like something else. The only thing I got was over here, but I think it's the building.
Henry.
Myself.
Henry, tell us what you did for a living, please. What did you do for work? Can you show us a picture of some of the tools you had to use? We're running out of time. We've been under for 5 minutes already.
For you?
Henry,
Or what?
I'm listening. Henry, do you need me to give you that recognition piece? That's a yes or no question. I can give you some recognition if you want. Henry, you need your recognition piece? I can do it.
Abundantly.
Normally when I get stuff like this, sometimes they'll say show me appreciation or recognition. I just figured if it's a little bit from his work, just to kind of give him that little
Not yet.
stroke his ego a little bit. It's not
Well,
like you can't hear me.
I think that's just the leaves.
I'm not saying I'm about to stroke his ego. Just to get him to talk to us. And
I
then
get
it's
something
coming
over
from somewhere.
here.
Anybody else feel that? Yeah, I don't know.
Now it's not registering. So before, when I pointed towards that building, there was a stick figure that came out, which I was thinking was the building and the leaves, but now it doesn't register it.
And all untroubled in her faith, she waits. Triumph or the tomb? There's a recognition. Can you tell us where that came from?
Those
What
leaves.
poem is that written from? And also tell me when you wrote it. I know that date as well. I was hoping to learn something new about you tonight, Henry, but I'm just trying to pull teeth to get you to come and chat with us. Give us an image or two.
is crucial.
Better. Any numbers showing up out of the two of you, by the way? Any words at all?
When I first got in here, it was, but that's it.
What'd you get?
48.3, like right when I passed the statue.
Yeah, that's huge. 48.3 though. Henry? We're running out of time fast, sir. I'm just asking about your work. If you want to talk about your work, you're going to let me know. Sign up for rating and down list. Two patients have to focus on all their breathing. What else are you doing fine? We're running out of time. Henry, your work.
Is that you,
Tidbits, breadcrumbs.
Henry?
Any sign that you're here at all. Okay. A little bit of recognition.
Here's the number one.
I'm not sure what this is. Kind of think it's the leaves and the building.
None of you get up. Any baby grass falling on the ground. Because again, sometimes you've been in the dark for 10 minutes. But I'm going to take a look at the images that we're seeing here. So she got it turned down a little bit. She's probably fine. So I don't feel like we had anything really going on here. Callie, you can go ahead and stop on your